Hello and welcome to your first sight reading lesson. This is Sight Reading 101, and after learning the things that I teach you in this lesson and the ones following, you'll be able to play that from reading the music someday. So welcome. Normally you're used to all the hear and play. You're learning from understanding some basic theory and listening to the song and just trying to play it by ear. And today we're going to learn how to see and play. So I'm really excited to be here. And I want to, for a moment, talk about real quickly, you should have received sheet music in your email or on the website in printable form. Pretty much this is what sheet music looks like on paper. So over here we have what we call the grand staff. So that is the whole shebang. Okay, so the first half, the top half, is the treble clef. That's what we play with our right hand. And then the bottom half we have the bass clef, and that portion is played with our left hand, and that would be the left half of the keyboard. So as you can see here, we're not playing anything with our left hand, and we have only just a few notes playing with the right hand. So your left hand can rest throughout this process. And I want to take a moment to actually go back to the keyboard, and if you've never played a note in your life, no worries. We are starting from ground zero. So the way to find middle C, this is middle C. If you're already familiar with it, you should be able to locate that pretty quickly. And if you're not sure where middle C is, so if you're on a full keyboard or piano, you want to go all the way to the last note. The first note on the keyboard, on a full keyboard, is going to be A. The note right next door is B, and the note after that is C. So C is always going to look like this. So if you notice the patterns of the 2 black keys and the 3 black keys, 2, 3, 2, 3, and so on, you will be able to find C if you find the groups of the 2 black keys and go right to the left. That's the first note touching the 2 black keys, C. And then next, C is going to be this one, again, 2 black keys, C. The next C, 2 black keys, and middle C is going to be the fourth C in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can go ahead and set your thumb on your right hand on middle C. Naturally, each of your fingers are going to sit comfortably on every key following middle C. And the only 2 notes we're going to play today are C and then D, right next to C. So just your thumb and your index finger is all we have to worry about today. So looking back at our music, I want us to go over the note values. So what are note values? Note values are what tells us how long to hold each note. And when you get a bunch of them together, that's what makes music as opposed to just a bunch of notes randomly sounding at any time. So looking back, so our first note, this is middle C, as the title suggests, middle C. The little tiny line, it's kind of hanging below the treble staff. And it is a black note with a stem, and it looks just like the one next to it. We also see another black note with a stem here. This is going to be D. Go over that in a minute. And then we have a couple more of these black notes with the stem. So the black notes with the stem are called a quarter note. Quarter notes get 1 beat or 1 count. And the next note value we have is a half note. So the half note gets 2 beats. Okay, so it is going to be held twice as long as the quarter notes. The last note we're going to worry about today, last note value, is going to be the whole note all the way at the end. Usually these come in at the end of the piece. The whole note is a big fat note, and it has no stem. So that's how you know it's a whole note, and you hold that for 4 whole beats. So 4 times as long as the quarter note, twice as long as the half note. Let's go ahead and try to clap through this piece, knowing what you know about the note values now, holding the quarter notes for 1 beat, the half notes for 2, and the whole note for a full 4 beats. Okay, so let's clap through this. Let's go back and look at our sheet music to follow along. Okay, ready, and 1, 2, half note coming up, 3, hold it, 4, 1, 2, 3, hold it, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, ending on a whole note, 1, holding it all the way, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's try it clapping through that one more time to make sure you really have the rhythm down before we go ahead and add the notes into it. So looking back at our sheet music, I'm going to go ahead and snap so I can point to where you are. So ready, and 1, 2, 3, holding, 4, 1, 2, 3, hold, 4, quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, hold, 2, 3, 4. Very nice. So if you feel like you haven't completely mastered that yet, pause the video, rewind, and go ahead and try that a couple more times until you really get it. Because if you're confused on the rhythm, the music part is just going to be a mess. So go back and make sure you really get that before we can go ahead and add the notes. So going back to our sheet music, we're going to look at our middle C again. So we've already identified how to find middle C. And we see it's played 3 times here. The next note, so this is new to us, and earlier I mentioned we were going to play D. So this is D. If you notice how close D is to C, it's 1 step away. Okay, so that is the D note, and we're repeating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then you go back to C, and you play 3 more times. So we're only playing the 2 notes and remembering your rhythm. We're going to go ahead and place our hands on the keyboard. It's only your right hand, so your left hand can rest. And thumb is going to go on middle C. So go ahead and play middle C just to get comfortable with that. And then also play D. So just your second finger and your first finger. Okay? So now we're going to add the rhythm. We're going to mix the rhythm part that we have mastered, and we're going to add to the notes that we just learned, C and D. Okay, so ready, following along. Ready, and playing C and counting 1, 2, 3, hold it, 4, stepping up to D, 1, 2, still on D, 3, hold, 4, still on D here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on C, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very nice. Okay, so we're going to try this one more time, and if it's still confusing, this is a video. You can pause it, rewind, make sure you get it all together before moving on to the next video. So one more time, looking at our sheet music, counting very slowly, thumbs on middle C. Let's try this again. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, hold, 4, moving up to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, still on D, 1, 2, back down to C, 3, 4, and 1, hold it, 2, 3, 4. All right, congratulations. You just played your first piece with sight reading. And after this, we're just going to work on perfecting this if you have not already. And if you totally have that down, even though it's very slow, you want to make sure you're very steady. And after you have that down, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next segment, which will be reading your next piece, stepping up and down. And I will see you again on the next segment.